Alright guys, welcome to Average Devs. Today we're going to be diving into the basics of coding with a classic Hello World Python program. Now you might be thinking, well, I already know how to write a Hello World program, and that my thumbnail was just clickbait. And you're right. Alright, so now for the program today, we're going to need to download Python. So we're going to come to python.org, come down here to the download section, and we're just going to download the latest version of Python, which for me is 3.12.4. You'll click on it and it'll bring you here, and you'll scroll down here and you'll find the version that you need to install. For me, I'm going to be installing the Windows 64-bit. Then you'll save it to your system and you'll run the installer. For me, since I already have an old version downloaded, it's going to ask me to upgrade. If you don't have an old version downloaded, it'll just ask you to install. Alright, so after a few minutes, it should show something like this, and that means that you've completely installed it, and you're now good to go. The next program that we're going to be installing is Visual Studio Code, which is an actual code editor, and this is how we will write our code. So you're going to want to come to code.visualstudio.com, and again, I'll be downloading for Windows, and you're just going to click the big download button here, or you can click the one up here. It'll then bring you to their documentation, which can be very helpful when you're getting started with coding, especially with Visual Studio Code. But you're just going to save the file into your system, just like Python, and then you're going to run it. And I'm unable to run it because I already have Visual Studio Code, but after downloading it, you'll just run it, and just like Python, you'll install it onto your system. Alright, now once you've installed Visual Studio Code in Python, you're going to double click Visual Studio Code to open it. Once you've opened it, you'll want to go to File and open a folder to store your files in. I've stored mine in a folder called Python YouTube for my Python YouTube series. Then we're also going to go to Extensions, and we're going to search up Python, and we're going to want to install the Python Microsoft extension. This will just help us with some of our Python programming, but it's not necessary. There's also the Python debugger, which is also just going to help us with some Python programming, but it's not 100% necessary either. But I do recommend installing both. Then we're going to go back to our Explorer up here, and we're going to create a new file. This file is going to be our Hello World program file. So I'm going to name it hello underscore world, and we're going to end it with .py or .py. This just lets the computer know that it's a Python this just lets the computer know that the text file is going to be a Python program and to run it like a Python program. If I'd just typed hello world, it doesn't know what to do with this. And so when I try to type something like print hello world, it does actually come up as a Python program now, which is a cool thing about Visual Studio Code. But I had to type out everything manually before it saw that I was trying to write a Python program. Now, if we come over to a program that we've already specified as Python, and we type in print, you can see that it already comes up with multiple options. So the print option, we can either click on it, or we can just press tab, and it will automatically fill out that option for us. Then we know we need to put parentheses, and as you can see, it put both parentheses for me, instead of me having to type both of them. And we'll do the same thing with the quotes. Then we'll type hello world, and as we can see, it helped me write my program faster than if I were to type it out manually in a regular text file. So I always recommend naming your file with the extension of the program that you want to be using, or the language that you want to be using. Now, after writing print hello world, we're going to run it using this button right here. Once you press that, it will show up down here as hello world. This shows that you've successfully run the program and that you had no errors. Some errors that you might encounter could be if we were missing the semicolon right there and we try to run the program, we're going to get a syntax error and it will tell us that the bracket was never closed right here. You can also see that the file will appear red to tell us that it's an unfinished program. The same thing could happen with the quotes. If we're missing one of the quotes and we run the program, it's going to give us another syntax error, and it's going to say it's an unterminated string literal, which means that this string never ends and it goes on forever. So we need to close the string by adding in the other quotes. And you've done it. You're now a programmer ready to make your 6-figure salary. Just kidding. You still have a lot to learn now. Let's break down what just happened. Print is a function that outputs the text to the screen, and hello world is the string that we want to display. Now that you've mastered hello world, what's next? You can start exploring variables and loops and functions. I recommend checking out my next video on Python to continue your coding journey. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more fun content. And don't forget to share any questions in the comments below. Let's build a community of average devs together.